Christmas has come early for you, Claire. Do you know why?
Why?
I'm giving you the gift of getting to talk about Ilvermorny again. I'm Vince.
I'm Claire.
And this is...
Friends of Legend.
Welcome to Friends of Legend, a podcast safari of the delightful and dangerous.
One of those safaris that you can drive through in the comfort of your own car.
Yep.
Or bed, or office chair.
Probably not while you're working. I don't know.
You listen to podcasts while you're working.
Oh yeah, well, you know. Oops.
Hope your bosses aren't listening.
Oh, my boss watches YouTube videos on the reg, so
Heyo.
We good. Today, we are talking about yet another wonderful cat creature.
You can never have enough kitty cats.
It's true. This one is the Wampus Cat. Now, have you heard of the Wampus Cat before?
Just sounds like a silly little nickname you would call your own cat. Like, oh, you little scrompanoid. You know, we're always making up words, and
It's
that
true.
sounds like one of them.
I know you've called Harry a Wampus at least once, and it's fitting.
I probably didn't know what it meant, though, of course.
No.
Well, yeah, I can say firmly I did not know what it meant.
Well, the Wampus Cat is a large cat that can be found all over the eastern half of the U.S.
Yeah, if it's Ilvermorny, then that implies that it's an American creature, right?
Definitely. It is specific to Appalachia, but there are sightings all over, even as far west as Idaho.
All right.
The Wampus Cat, as far as I can tell, is one specific entity. It's not a group of creatures or, you know, a subspecies of cat or anything like that. It is one particular cat entity.
Sure, kind of like Krampus. And
Yeah.
I only say that because of the name sounding the same.
Yeah, the Krampus Cat.
Yeah.
More like Pegasus.
yeah, that's a little better. Is it a god sort of thing?
No, not really. Well, we'll talk about how the Wampus Cat came to be a little later on.
Okay, yeah, you tell me.
But she is sometimes known as the Catawampus.
Oh, it's a lady.
It is a lady. Once, twice, three times a lady.
Oh, that's great.
Also sometimes known as the Gallywampus,
Hmm.
Whistling Wampus, or Old Wampus. A Wampus for every season.
Delightful.
Mm-hmm. As far as appearance go, most sources indicate that the Wampus Cat looks almost indistinguishable from a mountain lion or cougar. Maybe larger, has, you know, the tan fur, white underbelly, black-tipped ears, the amber eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm inclined to believe this appearance as well for reasons we'll get into later as we talk about the origin of the Wampus Cat. Some people say that it looks like a panther, though, jet black and amphibious,
Okay.
weirdly.
Maybe she can present herself in different physical forms, like with slightly variant colorations.
It's possible. It might just be that these people are looking at the Wampus Cat at night, though. That seems more likely.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Again, you will see why. Some people say that the Wampus Cat has 6 legs instead of 4. 2 that it walks on like a human, and 4 for fighting.
Oh, yeah.
For scromping.
Is that where the name 5 for fighting came? There was already a band that was 4 for fighting? And that was the Wampus's band? That wasn't much of a joke. I like your response.
That's my response to that joke.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Thanks for indulging me.
I love you.
I love you.
Lastly, a curio of the Idaho Wampus Cat lore is that they seem to think it has an ankylosaur-like club on its tail.
Oh, goodness.
Used for whapping.
That is a good Idaho curio.
Mm-hmm. You like that? A Duncan Idaho curio.
Dune reference.
Dune bears. Really, that's all there is to the appearance. Throughout every reference that I was able to see, it does seem like the Wampus Cat will walk on her 2 back legs, regardless of whether she's got 4 scrumping paws in front or 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm most interested in hearing you talk about her combat style a little later, whenever you do.
Well, the thing about her combating is kind of interesting, but we'll get into that. I think it's time for me to talk about the origin story. Most people agree that this story originated from Cherokee lore.
Okay.
There are many different ways that it's told, but I've gathered up a sum of all the matching details of those different stories to give what seems to be the most holistically accurate tale.
Story quilt.
I like that. Story quilt. Keeps you warm at night. Long, long ago, a Cherokee woman was married to a man who regularly participated in hunting parties for the village. The hunts were always preceded by a gathering of the party with the village's medicine man or sorcerer, and these were very secretive and sacred gatherings that women were under no circumstances allowed to attend, unfortunately. However, this woman was very curious, almost cat-like, you might say.
Ooh.
Foreshadowing abounds. Well, one night, the curiosity got the better of her, and when she knew that her husband was going to go to one of these gatherings, she followed him, trying to hide in the shadows, wearing the pelt of a mountain lion to keep her warm.
Okay.
So she eventually hides behind a rock as she finds the men and the medicine man in the hunting party, gathering around a campfire, telling stories. The medicine man's casting spells, presumably to protect the hunting party from harm and to honor and consecrate the life that they're going to take to support their village.
Yeah.
Eventually, however, she is spotted by the sorcerer.
And
he calls her out and casts a curse on her. And with this curse, the cloak of the mountain cat wraps around her, and she assumes its form, forever to stalk the forests and the plains of the area, never to know the camaraderie of living in a village and being accepted as a human.
Oh my gosh.
But also not being accepted by their mountain lions.
Oh, that is a severe punishment for just peeping.
And it's implied that this curse also came with immortality, so she's stuck that way forever.
Oh my goodness. Does this remind you at all of the Yinad Lishi?
It is that way, except this is more of like a sad thing that happened to someone because societal laws decided that she wasn't allowed to participate in something, rather than a conscious decision to become an evil person.
Right. There's real differences. It just kind of reminded me of, someone wearing the pelt of an animal and becoming it.
Yeah, the roots are the same. But that being said, the Wampus Cat that's spotted everywhere from West Virginia to Idaho is apparently the same cat.
She makes her rounds.
She makes her rounds, not finding comfort or companionship anywhere she goes.
Well, I can tell you already that this lady sounds like someone I want to become friends with, especially because she doesn't have anyone else, presumably.
Yeah, she sounds like one of those sad friends I'm always talking about.
But also friend-shaped. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I want to know the full story. Still don't think it's going to change my mind, but still.
So, like I said, in addition to the human sentience that she possesses, because she doesn't just become a cat, she's a person trapped inside of a cat's body, essentially. She also has the ability to walk on her hind legs, which would be extremely disconcerting to anyone who saw it. That in addition to the fact that you're a large predatory cat means that no one's really going to want to stick around you.
That's true.
Also, it's said that her howling is supposed to be truly haunting to hear. Like a probably wombo combo of existential sadness that a human feels with the howly caterwauls of a cougar.
Oh, man. Which incidentally sounds like what Harry does on a regular basis.
Yeah. Harry makes Wampus Cat sounds all the time.
I hope he's not.
He's not a Wampus Cat.
He's not the Wampus.
He's not the Wampus Cat. He's black and white.
And it's a he.
Yeah, and it's a he. But he carries the Wampus Cat vibe whenever we put him in his room.
Yeah. He commiserates.
He does.
With her.
He does. I bet he would be a friend of the Wampus Cat. But yeah, if you hear that sound, you're going to feel sad, but you're also going to feel very, very afraid because it is like a werewolf call.
Sure.
It instills something primally dreadful in you.
Yeah, except when she calls like that, it's not to summon her brethren.
Yeah. But you don't know that. Well, we know that now.
Yeah,
but,
you know. Yeah.
One other thing that she can do that is sort of supernatural and also ties back to the Yinadlishi is that her eyes glow in the dark.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's said that they glow green, but usually it's the gold shininess.
That's neato.
Mm-hmm. So she is sighted all over the United States. The majority of the sightings occur in Appalachia or just sort of southwest of that in Arkansas. Most of the tales we have recorded today are from 19th century and early 20th century small towns in Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Ohio, etc.
I wonder if the McElroys have ever heard them.
Maybe. I have to imagine that Wampus Cat gets to pal around with like the Mothman and the Grafton Beast.
Whoa!
Those are other West Virginia babies.
I didn't know Mothman was local. Well, relatively
local to West Virginia, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way these stories usually go is that someone will either come back from a hunting trip in a cold sweat running away because they saw a cat on two legs, or campers around a fire packed up early when they heard the sound of a dreadful cat meow.
It just so happened that when you said that, Harry meowed outside the door.
Yeah, triggered. And when that happens, a lot of times the authorities in the town will take it seriously because the fear of the Wampus Cat runs deep. They'll put up curfews, people will sit behind the front doors and hold their shotguns.
Does she
waiting
hurt
out
them?
the nine. So, I didn't see any direct reference to anyone ever getting hurt. I saw many references to people seeing the Wampus Cat and running away, but no one ever said, yeah, my brother Clan got killed by the Wampus Cat. Or, no one lost an arm or anything like that. So it's kind of like the Knuckle-a-V. No one gives it the chance to hurt it.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the intentions of the Wampus Cat are.
It just bums me out. They don't give her a chance.
Yeah. She just wants friends, presumably. Well, she needs friends. I don't know if she wants them at any given point when she's meeting up with people.
Nope.
I have to assume that when she sees, like, especially if she comes across a campsite with a bunch of men around a fire, it evokes the situation where she was cursed and she doesn't feel very good about that, so she might get angry in that case.
Yeah.
But if you're just like a lone dude out in the forest, I don't necessarily know if she's gonna try to eat you.
So do we know what her exact diet is?
I assume it's like a mountain lion, because she's got the body of a mountain lion. It's not like she has a human stomach in there. She's probably an obligate carnivore, eating deers and jackrabbits and such. There's also some stories of her wandering into farms and eating livestock or pets. Or destroying property. So she does clearly have some aggression, some more human aggression, destroying property for destruction's sake.
Yeah. What has she done? Has she set farms ablaze? Does she just rip through walls, or what does she do?
I don't think she does anything with fire, but she probably, breaks cattle fences or, tears open the side of a barn.
Yeah.
Rips open the stable doors so she can get out the horses.
Yeah.
Hey. And also, when she stalks campsites, a lot of people will report that she steals their food as well, kind of like a bear.
Bummer, man.
I
see that she's not really making it easy for people to want to get along with her. It's a hard life, though.
It's what she was cursed to. She was cursed to be forever misunderstood.
This breaks my little heart, and we have to go looking for her whenever we go on a road trip up north.
But we'll have to be safe about it. I have some safety tips.
Okay.
We'll get to that a little later. One more thing I wanted to say about sightings is that in 1964, in Johnston County, North Carolina, there were a bunch of isolated reports of seeing the Wampus Cat near the mountains in that area that all occurred around the same time. And when that happened, it attracted hundreds of tourists into the area, all wanting to get a picture of the Wampus Cat.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it went on for a while until the sheriff of the area called the hunt off, calling it a hoax. There are a lot of people, however, that insist that the sheriff only did that out of fear for the tourist's safety, not because he actually believed it was a hoax. Because people around there know Wampus Cat, serious business.
It was very Scooby-Dooey.
Hope it wasn't Old Man MacGuffin the whole time.
Arrgh. I wonder if my parents ever heard the Wampus Cats cry when we lived in North Carolina. I was just a bab at the time, so I wouldn't remember, but... Interesting.
Yeah, well, you can ask them. Moving on to modern representation, what I saw most often was that there are a bunch of high schools that have the Wampus Cat as their mascot.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say that they do Wampus Cat plays.
That'd be good. I want to see a Wampus Cat play.
Me too.
I want to see an elementary school Wampus Cat play, though.
Oh, precious. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our kid can be the campfire.
Oh, way to go, Jimmy!
We don't have a kid. Harry can be the campfire.
We don't want him in front of anyone.
No, Harry would be the Wampus Cat.
Yeah, he's aggro.
Oops. So, and the areas that they are found in range from North Carolina to Idaho, like I said. Most curiously, there's a high school in Conway, Arkansas that has a Wampus Cat mascot with 6 legs instead of 4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That being the only one I saw that had the 6-legged Wampus Cat.
Right.
There's a brewery in Virginia called Strange Ways. They have a triple IPA called Wampus Cat.
Triple IPA?
Triple IPA, you know, above 10%, above 100 IBUs. Strong and bitter, just like the Wampus Cat.
And it's triple like the pairs of legs that the Wampus Cat has.
In some reports.
That's what I like to believe.
That's how it's referenced in the next modern representation I'm going to talk about. There are several references to the Wampus Cat in literature, but the most famous one nowadays is the addendum to the Harry Potter series about the North American wizarding school Ilvermorny. One of the houses and its mascot is the Wampus Cat. 6-legged Wampus Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards in this house tend to value physical strength and fitness. It's said that this house favors warriors. And J.K. Rowling, in one of her famous tweet updates, said that if Jacob Kowalski was a wizard, he would have been sorted into Wampus Cat.
That's a nothing statement.
It is a nothing statement, but...
She's got a lot of time on her hands, evidently.
Yeah, well...
For the tweets.
Uh-huh. The tweets. And, you know, I didn't really see any video games or movies that featured the Wampus Cat in them, which is very surprising.
Hold on, backtrack. Jacob Kowalski is not the physical type, sir.
I know, he's not exactly fit.
He's not exactly a warrior, either.
I don't know, maybe Wampus Cat is like the Hufflepuff of Ilvermorny.
Man, I'm done with that. So done.
And with this, we've talked about every creature featured in an Ilvermorny house. Because we talked about Thunderbird and, by extension... we talked about Pukwudgie, but in the Thunderbird episode, we also talked about the Horned Serpents.
Oh. So, yeah, that's right. Okay. Alright, so we don't have to talk about it anymore?
We'll see.
Maybe
I'll do an episode about the Horned Serpents.
I'll spare our poor listeners who don't want to hear my aggression.
Oh, but I do.
Okay.
That's why I bring this up, and that's why I bring up Shurikadamas.
God, why?
Because there is a television show called Mountain Monsters. I have no idea what channel it was aired on, nor was I able to find any footage of it.
Sounds like one of those AMC.
Or like a public access television show. Episode 4 of season 1 of that show was about the Wampus Cat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say about it. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about befriending this kitten.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's important, if you go looking for the Wampus Cat, that you don't recreate the situation in which she was cursed. So what I mean by that is, like, no large campfires, don't go out with a bunch of your hunting buddies, don't be telling stories around that campfire as well. Try not to create this situation if you are indeed looking for the Wampus Cat. Of course, if you're going camping, and this is the kind of stuff you do, go ahead and do it. Just be aware that if you're in Wampus Cat territory, you might make the Wampus Cat angry.
Mm-hmm.
When you do see her, stand your ground, but don't appear threatening, because I have to imagine that she just wants some companionship, but also she's used to seeing people react negatively to her the whole time, so if you can kind of just be calm.
Sure.
And as outwardly friendly as you can.
Offer some of your s'mores.
Mm-hmm. Or, you know...
Meat s'mores.
Your meat s'mores.
I was just trying to think.
I was thinking, like, the Jack Link's jerky commercials with the Sasquatch.
Feed your wild side.
Yeah, feed your wild side. Feed the Wampus Cat's wild side. And that was actually going to be my next point. Bring some food along. Meat would be best. don't just bring jerky because, it's got a lot of sodium.
You don't want to stop her up.
Yeah, you don't want to give her a tummy ache.
Aww.
Wampus tummy.
Oh no, not the Wampus tummy.
Mm-hmm. And last and most importantly, just talk to her like you would a normal person. Like, even if she can't speak back, even if the language you're speaking isn't something she can understand, I have to imagine that hearing the cadence and inflection of someone having a casual conversation would be very calming and comforting and meaningful to this person cat who's been cast out of society for centuries.
I'm kind of imagining that she might communicate like Toothless does in, all the How to Train Your Dragon movies where he gets a little stick in his mouth and then he draws on the sand, and maybe she can write.
Oh.
Or draw little pictographs or whatever.
I was thinking she'd do what Birdie does and just chirp at you.
Probably that.
Yeah.
Probably that.
Birdie's talkative. But yeah, with that, I think it's time that we give this friend a rating. Now, if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, I almost said podcat. This podcast.
That's good.
It is a podcat.
I'm keeping that in.
How many cats at this point?
Let's see. Let's count the ways.
Definitely 2. We've kind of talked about...
So, Totzelworm.
Wampus Cat.
Troll Cat, kind of.
We talked about Troll Cat, sort of.
A tiny bit, yeah.
This is not fun to listen to. Anyway, we have a 4-tier rating system that gauges how easy it is to become friends with these wonderful creatures.
Heck yeah.
First tier on the list is Friendshaped. Friendshaped friend is going to be the kind of friend that you'd call to get your car a jump start. Think of something like Swan Maidens.
You know Swan Maidens carry jumper cables around.
Oh, absolutely.
You know they do.
Honk.
Oh, swan sounds. Okay. Second up, we've got Cheeky Friend. This kind of friend you might call on for a jump start. And they say, sure, I'll jump start your car, but let me finish making out with my girlfriend, and maybe you'll catch a movie first, and then I'll get to you.
Oh, man.
Think of a bugbear.
Oh, bugbear.
Yeah.
Never has time for me. Next up on the list is Spicy Friend. It's going to be the kind of friend who will jumpstart your car, but not until you promise to take them out to dinner.
Ooh, I don't like that condition.
Yeah, well, it's very predatory. Yeah. Like the Tarisk.
Another misunderstood creature.
It's very true.
Lastly, we've got Not a Friend Yet. This kind of friend wants to experiment with a new way of jumpstarting your car, where instead of jumper cables, they use your fingers.
Oh, see, what I thought you were going to say is that they attach one of the jumpers on their car, and then they go like they're going to attach it to your car, but then attach it to you instead.
Ah! I think they might do that too.
Yeah?
Think of a red cap.
Oh, red caps. Man, I don't even think they're big or strong enough to squeeze those tense jumper cable chompers.
All the better.
All the better. So, what do you think the Wampus Cat is?
We can't blame predatory animals for their hunting instinct. And as hard as it is to, watch a Nat Geo documentary where you've got a fluffy little bunny that the narrator's talking about for an hour, and then it gets got by a mountain lion, and you blame the mountain lion. You wrecked my day, mountain lion. We can't be doing that. We have to understand her side of things. And that's the biggest thing that would turn people against her, I feel. However, since there's no real evidence of her successfully palling up with someone after her transformation, I don't know that I would call her friend-shaped, so maybe it's Spicy Friend for this sweetling, since she does sometimes attack humans. I guess. That's what humans make it sound like.
I really do think it's Spicy Friend because she has a lot of the same sort of vibes as the Tarisk. Full of raw power, very menacing, but there's intelligence inside of her, and she lacks the evil that something like the Vaginoi would have, or
Sure.
the utter indifference that something like Pegasus has that would make her fall under Not a Friend Yet. So I think she's Spicy Friend.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. And then when we meet her, and we have a lovely camping trip with her with no campfires.
No campfires.
But lots of meat s'mores.
Meat s'mores. I mean, we don't have to have lots of meat s'mores.
just enough for her. Then we might change our rating to friend-shaped.
Is a meat s'more a KFC Double Down?
Oh god. I wouldn't know. I don't eat meat.
Well...
You know what? We can go get her a bucket of KFC Double Down if that's what she so desires.
A bucket of KFC Double Down?
I don't know how it works. I just know about the buckets. Goodness gracious, don't laugh at me.
That's what they call the home wrecker.
Ay.
Well, anyway, thank you all so much for listening to our podcast.
Thank you!
If you like what you heard, please share us with a friend. This podcast is all about friends, and we would love to meet your friends.
We really would! And they and you can subscribe to us if you haven't already, and give us a rating, especially in Apple Podcasts, otherwise known as iTunes. It's extremely helpful.
And if you want more Friends of Legend content, you can go to friendsoflegend.com, where you can find all of our episodes, frequently asked questions, transcripts, and a contact form, where you can ask us anything that's on your little mind, or your big mind, or your medium mind even.
Whatever kind of mind you got.
Yeah, we accept all minds.
We're also on Facebook and Twitter if you are on the socials and want to get in touch with us there. And we also have a YouTube channel. So if you want to show our podcast to your grandma, and your grandma doesn't really know how to use podcast players, but she's on YouTube all the time, then hey,
it's a very
we got that too.
Very specific type of grandma.
Well, see, I've got one of them who wouldn't know the first thing about playing a podcast, but YouTube is up her alley.
I suppose it is easier to send a YouTube link. But we digress. If you have any questions or just want to say hello to us, you can email us at friendsoflegend@gmail.com or use that contact form I talked about a little earlier.
And announcement time! Next episode, which is in 2 weeks' time, will be our season finale! And we have big things planned for you, so get ready.
Big things. But they're actually little things, aren't they? A
Uh-huh.
lot of them. Spoilers. Yeah, I'm excited about this episode too. It's going to be fun and games. Thanks again so much for listening to our podcast. And remember, when it comes to Friends of Legend, charm them.
Do not harm them.
See, I thought you were going to say, give us a rating, especially in apple pie. But that's nothing.
Yes.
That's a nothing statement.
Yes. No, I like it.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.